he did a DU briefing. Now, he took a lot of the information I wrote and he put into it, and he totally confirmed all the health problems in it. I mean, when you pull up the actual briefing by him, the Pentagon briefing, thoroughly acknowledges alpha particle taken inside the body has large doses and hazard producing cell damage and cancer. Lung cancer is well documented. Well, that's what happened to my guys. The beta particle hazardous to skin and the lens of the eyes, incredible rashes. The damage to the lens of the eye, the radiation cataracts, again, has ripped my eyes apart. We look at all the continuing problems, all of the stuff, target organs, kidney, and the bone. And then when you got the bone, obviously you got the teeth, which just break out. And the other crazy thing, they totally acknowledge, statement of fact, urine samples containing uranium are mutagenic as determined by the Ames test. Well, ladies and gentlemen, don't pee on your fingers because you're putting direct carcinogens on your fingers. The cultured human stem cell bone line with DU also transforms the cells to become carcinogenic. Well, that's why we have all the incredible levels of leukemia. I mean, we have incredible levels of leukemia in the returning military troops, and totally, as you just acknowledged, all over Iraq, Afghanistan, all over the place where it's been tested, up in Concord, Massachusetts, where we look at Albany, New York, we look down in...
Doc, I want to get more into that, but what does this mean for you about the mindset of the war planners? Because you've quoted these from the late 1940s where they were already talking about this as a weapon because they had so much byproduct, but they said no. From the 40s up until the 80s, they said no. You know, they'd let the troops be in Agent Orange. They'd let the troops take guinea pig vaccines. They'd even have the Project Shad and spray chemical and biologicals on the troops, you know, treating them like guinea pigs. But then there was this change. It was just, I mean, that sounds like something Satan would do. We'll let the troops use a weapon. We'll put it in concrete. We'll put it in golf clubs. We'll put it in forklifts. We'll put it everywhere. It's going to soft kill everybody that gets in contact with it. I mean, something changed, and that dovetails with now high-powered X-rays that look through your walls, and they're telling the technicians, don't worry about radiation. I mean, this is madness.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, you know, we've got the Buck Rogers ray gun, too, that the Air Force Secretary has authorized and told to use on civilians during any disturbances or protests or anything else. So we've got this out there totally. I think for me as a career military officer and scientist and teacher and everything and medical, I had to come to the realization, especially when I was served as a director and did the stuff and wrote it. I came to the realization no matter what we did, you couldn't clean it up after you used it. No matter what you did, there was absolutely no effective medical care and treatment because as I'm doing this, I'm deteriorating. I mean, one of the most astonishing things that they had at the U.S. Army Chemical School is they called me Dr. Rock or Dr. DU, is, my God, how are you continuing to do all this work when you're so sick and your guys are so sick? And yet you guys are writing the regulations. You're doing the research out on the Nevada test site, Aberdeen Proving Grounds, every place we were doing it. And yet you're getting this done. Well, I had to personally come to the realization, my God, what we have done to God's earth and what we are doing to God's earth and what we will do to God's earth is completely wrong. We can't use these radioactive toxic munitions because we can't clean them up. We don't have the medical care. And yet the arrogance that's set by the military mindset is any weapon that we have can kill and destroy man, animal, structures of anything we're going to use. And DU weapons originally designed were supposed to be set, as you said in the opening, for armor. You know, the Soviets coming across the plains in Eastern Europe. But DU weapons are far more effective against a conventional wooden frame structure. They're more effective against anything. And so that's why we have all the different ones. And so in Iraq and Afghanistan, I mean, when you look at apartment houses and apartment buildings and houses and other hospital facilities and water treatment plants, sewage treatment facilities that are all shot up and burned out with radioactive contamination, you go, my God, why?
And we're seeing an exponential increase every year of the use of these weapons and the type of munitions they're in, and the troops need to know. You use DU weapons, and you move into areas, because unlike a lead round or a steel round, and Doc, you can explain this, DU has such a high mass that when it hits, it goes through softer things, but once it hits a hard surface, it literally ignites. Correct, sir?
Well, first, let's get this clear. The DU round is on fire the minute it leaves the muzzle of the weapon, okay? It's on fire immediately, so it's shedding. Uranium rounds have an extremely high density, but they're very soft. So they shatter, they break up a lot. So we see 60 to 70% of it breaking up in mass, extremely fine.
So the troops are literally firing toxic waste radiation guns. I mean, you talk about Buck Rogers, Martians land, and they're firing radiation blocks. I mean, literally just, Darth Vader stormtroopers wouldn't be that stupid. I mean, they're literally firing radiation guns.
That's correct. And see, that when I did the work at the Nevada test site in Mercury, Nevada, that's what I learned, that what I found out. I mean, we're out there shooting everything. I was shooting up 4x4 chunks of wood. It was incredible. I was shooting up sand dunes. We're shooting up armor, shooting up everything. And what we learned and what we saw scared me. It scared us. And we had to do this to confirm and write, as you said, the Army regulations that govern how it's handled, how it's cleaned up, what you do, what are the medical requirements. And then it was totally ignored. And again, it comes down to, we have a mindset in our nation now. We're attacking and destroying nations all over. We're killing and maiming and shooting everybody. And they've never attacked us. They've never done anything to us. And then we contaminate the air, water, and soil around them, make their food unusable. I mean, in the commentary...
But our own stormtroopers, I interrupted you. I want you to continue there, but go back to, you fire a 50 caliber rifle, let's just pick that weapon,
right,
with a DU round, what happens? Well,
take, for example, we had the U.S. Marines shot a 50 caliber DU round at the beginning of Iraqi freedom, and they destroyed an Abrams tank. Took everybody out inside of it and destroyed the tank. It was that simple. They destroyed an Abrams tank with a 50 caliber DU round, and got everybody inside, wounded, ill, sick. Just a nightmare. And it continues on. What I hear day in and day out from people that are being deployed have come back. They've gone into areas where DU has been used, or they're using it. They were not provided the training. They were not given the medical care. They're not given the procedures. It's 40 hours of training.
They're given a death sentence. I mean, it's a death sentence.
Correct, it is, but it's a death sentence, not only for our military, and you bring it on back to the families, because the contamination has absolutely been brought back to the states and cross-contaminated within the military bases and off-base. I personally want to confirm that personally by doing it for the Army. And then you get the spouses sick. I've had spouses that have sat right here at my table, 3 feet from where I am right now. They got cross-contaminated once the contamination came back with the same medical problems that I have. Absolutely identical.
Because it only takes a little bit.
The little bit, we're talking about nano amounts, amounts so small that you can't even see it. Because, see, the particulates, when this stuff is used, we're looking at extremely fine, smaller, less than a tenth of a micron. So there's no filtering that'll clean it up or take care of it.
Stay there, Doc. We got to come back. This is amazing. Dr. Doug Rocky is our guest. Dr. DU.
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
You worry. You see the signs and worry about the future. You worry about economic turmoil and food shortages. How to be prepared while preserving your sanity. Your answer may be at hand. Author Linda Runyon lived off the land, isolated from civilization. She knows that as long as the sun shines, there will be plenty of free food all over God's green earth. Perhaps the only sane insurance is knowledge of wild edible plants. The cost of learning is minimal. Wild food grows everywhere, and you will see it everywhere. It's every bit organic and more nutritious than our modern diets. Well respected in her field, Linda's approach to teaching this subject includes books, flashcards, and video with an emphasis on health, safety, practicality, and joy. Learn how to identify it, where and when to find it, how to prepare, use, and store it. Go to Linda's website, ofthefield.com, and take advantage of special offers. Or if you're not online, call her 24-hour toll-free order line at 888-51-EAT-FREE. That number again, 888-51-EAT-FREE. A little knowledge makes starvation impossible.
You may be arrested and or subject to other police action.
Tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state is God.
The United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on Earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This documentary exposes how the continuity of government program has established an all-powerful shadow state. Police State 4 chronicles the sickening depths to which our republic has fallen. Prepare to enter the secretive world of emergency dictatorship. Body scanners, sound cannons, citizen spies, stage terror, and cameras on every street corner. It's only the beginning of the New World Order's hellish plan. The police state isn't coming. It's here.
Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or see it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Buy the case or buy the pallet. Sapaco's SurePack MREs are the most well-balanced, great-tasting meals ready to eat available at MyersCustomSupply.com. Sapaco's SurePack MREs are great for any situation. Come with or without flameless ration heaters, are easy to transport, and easy to store with a 3 to 5 year shelf life. And you can buy just a case or an entire pallet. Either way, Sapaco's SurePack MREs are ready to eat hot or cold. Experience superior customer service from the #1 Sapaco supplier that's been in business since 1997. When you order your Sapaco SurePack MREs from MyersCustomSupply.com, get fast free shipping and 5% off your total order by using promo code GCN5 at checkout. Call 1-800-451-6105 or visit MyersCustomSupply.com. That's MEYERS CustomSupply.com or call 800-451-6105. For the lowest prices on the internet, visit MyersCustomSupply.com.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. Live from Austin, Texas, broadcasting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
We're going to have Dr. Doug Rockey up in the near future for another hour. He's very gracious to join us so we can just take calls from troops. We won't have time today, but if the doc will do it, we'll have him back in the next few weeks for an hour just to take calls from victims of depleted uranium. But this goes to the whole mindset of the system, and I'm going to beg listeners to do something. We archive this live radio show and the live streaming video every day at PrisonPlanet.tv. I want PrisonPlanet.tv members to get this interview with Dr. Doug Rockey and post it everywhere. We'll put it on the Alex Jones channel as well. But this, you need to give this to everyone you know who is in high school where the military is literally taking it over and forcing recruiting and threatening kids to join. You need to send it to everybody you know in the military because the troops, they aren't even labeling it. They aren't even telling them. They're just serving it out now. They have a right to know. The government doesn't own troops. They're not allowed to kill them this way. And pull up that headline for me. Came out about a month ago, London Independent. It was the British Medical Journal and others, and studies that have been done in Fallujah. Cancers and birth defects 14 times higher in Fallujah. That's London Guardian. Huge rise in birth defects in Fallujah. Iraq former battle zone sees abnormal clusters of infant tumors and deformities. Yeah, that's from a year ago. This one's about a month ago. It's a new major study. 14 times. Cancers increased 14 times in Fallujah.